Explain how a hamburger caused you to become a fan of the Washington football team.
The now Washington football team? Well, favorite food at whatever 4 years old is hamburgers. Well, when you got a linebacker named Chris Handberger, and you're young and you're going, that guy's got the last name of my favorite food. And I remember Hamburger had this notion of he might let you get 2 more yards if he could get you in a position to slam you down and still be standing up and walk around going like, see, I didn't go down, you did. That's how Hamburger led me to become a fan of the now Washington football team. I grew up 2.5 hours outside of Dallas. Everybody was a Dallas Cowboy fan. But I also remember another reason that I liked what was then called the Redskins was that I was, watching Westerns with my dad at a very young age. I was instinctually always rooting for the American Indian. In my young mind, Cowboys versus the Washington football team, that was, going to play then what would be called, as in a kid's mind, Cowboys versus Indians, and so I chose them. And I was the only one. There was one other fan in Texas that I knew of. His name was Scott. He actually lived catty corner across the street from me in Country Place in Longview, Texas. And I still send him Washington football gear.
I mentioned Dan Snyder introduced us briefly at the commissioner's party. How did the two of you become close?
I was at the last game at RFK, went down on the field, got burgundy soil, put it in a mason jar. I was at the first game at Jack Kent Cooke and the first game at FedEx Field. So it was around then, and then have continued to be a supporter of the team. And I'm not exactly sure when I met Dan, but it was around in that time.
How have you seen him grow as owner?
Dan would be the first to say right now that if he could go back, he would have probably made different decisions, and would also say that maybe he's put his hand or his opinion in there and not let some of the people do maybe the work that they were most equipped to do or what he hired them to do. He's also been in circumstances where I think what he hired and what he got was not what he thought he was getting. It's a tumultuous time for him and the team right now. And I think what was happening right before everything came out with, the changing of the name and now certain allegations that he's in the news for, he was really pleased and felt good about having somebody making the move, having the front office be a front office that he was going to not touch as much, having a Ron Rivera in there to really create the culture and stabilize the culture within the organization. And so I think he's looking to be an owner who can be a little more hands off and have the people in the right position to say, if you're committed to our team and our culture, I'm going to let you build this organization back to being a champions again, which I look forward to that day. And I believe that'll happen. The culture needed stabilizing, and it's actually on its way, even though if you looked at it on paper with the name change and everything that's going on, you could say, how's that stabilizing? It's been a disruptive year for the Washington football team, but in some ways there's some stabilization that's going to come out of this.
Your dad, what do you know about him and Bear Bryant back in the day?
All I know is that they didn't get along too well. There was something I think it was about an Orange Bowl game that Dad, evidently the stories I heard is that he was a bona fide starter, and that for whatever reason, some rift they had, that when they showed up game day, Dad found the slip in his locker saying you're not playing. Something to that effect. But he and Bear did not get along, and I believe that's why I was told why he transferred to the University of Houston.
And he played for the Packers for a year.
Drafted by the Packers, he had very minimal playing time, if any. I don't know exactly what happened there. I believe he got injured, is what I understand.
So you mentioned telling your dad you no longer wanted to play football, and you start pursuing golf. How do you get 4 holes in one playing golf?
First two were in 11 days apart. First two, Alpine Golf Club. Yeah. First one, it was a wedge, and I hit it thin, just thin to win though. This is where I picked up that great term in golf, thin to win, because it was directly online, and it was gonna have some juice on it. It was gonna come back. But before it had a chance to come back, it boom, one up, dunk, gone, hole in one. I don't even know if I got the trophy in hand yet before 11 days later I get another one. The second one was the one that you kind of dream of, the one that goes two hops and comes back and dies in the hole. That was the picture one. The third one was at a Oilman's golf tournament, and I remember it was with an 8-iron, and it was one of those ones where they had the car set up. Whoever makes the hole in one gets that year's sort of GMC Suburban. I was playing with some adults and my dad. They're like, you got the car, you got the car, you got the car. I'm like, I got the car, I got the car, I got the truck, I got the truck. Well, it turns out that there was some sort of, the person who was in charge of actually having the car all those years, there really wasn't a car, believing no one would ever get a hole in one. And then all of a sudden I do, and he gets the call and he's like, uh-oh. Well, I remember it coming to me when we got the celebration, and we said, you know what? We're not going to go into a legal chase about, that's my damn car, get my son his car. We're like, you guys work it out, and whatever money you get from it, or you give it to the charity that the tournament was for. The fourth one was night golf in Australia. Glowing ball. And that too was an 8-iron. I remember my foursome, we looked for that glowing ball in the trap behind the green, and it was damn in the hole. So that's how you get 4 holes in one. That's how I got 4 holes in one.